The lie that's told to us about being a provider. Here's the truth behind the myth of being a provider that everybody should consider and think about. The idea of being a provider carries a lot of weight in society. Many believe that it means shouldering the financial burdens alone or being the sole source of support for the family. This belief often creates pressure and misunderstanding with what it truly means to be a provider. Truth is more complicated and it's also freeing. So, freeing yourself of the myth is something that we all need to really realize and do, because we don't live in the times of the 1940s or 1950s or 30s, back when the men used to be the ones that were also just considered the head of households and also the only ones actually pretty much allowed to work. So, what being a provider really means. Being a provider is often linked to money, but it goes beyond finances. Providing means offering support in many forms, and those forms could be emotional, physical, and all practical. It also includes creating a safe environment and sharing the responsibilities and nurturing a relationship. For example, a parent who stays home to take care of a child provides stability and love, even if that person doesn't bring in an income to the family. A partner who manages the household allows the other to focus on work and or personal growth, or usually it's both. These roles are all a form of providing. So we need to look at the myth and see it for what it is. The myth of the sole financial responsibility is a common myth that providers must be the only money earning individual in the house or in the family or relationship. This idea can cause stress and a feeling of failure if circumstances change. Male loses his job, all right? There's a certain pressure that society puts upon him or puts upon that person that makes that person feel as though they're a lesser. But in reality, many families share financial duties and or roles based on need and ability and availability. So, consider the couple where both partners are contributing financially, but also share chores and or childcare. This balance reduces the pressure for one person and builds a teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? This also shows that providing is a shared effort and not just a solo mission. You understand that by having that particular family or that particular agreement and understanding, that now you're supporting each other, you're building trust, you're being reliable, you're doing the things that you need to do to help the overall family or the team grow. So let's look at emotional support as a form of providing. Emotional support is often overlooked when discussing providers. Being there is important, especially important during tough times. Listening, offering encouragement are vital ways to provide these actions, because it strengthens bonds and it improves the well-being. For instance, a friend who regularly checks in during stressful periods of time provides comfort and also reassurance. This kind of support can be very important and can be just as important as financial help. Our society shapes provider expectations or shapes the provider's expectations. Don't let it. Create your own. Culture and social norms heavily influence what people expect from a provider. Traditional views often place men as the primary breadwinners and women as caregivers. We don't live in that world anymore. So choosing roles or finding that role changes are something that's happening. The old way is actually literally that, the old way. But those old ideals are still in effect for many people. Understanding that expectations are learned helps people to question and redefine what providers and providing means for their own lives. Don't look at what somebody else is saying. Look at how you see the world and what it fits for you. Because those other people, they're not living your world. All right? They don't understand or are going through what you're going through or dealing with what you're dealing with. And their opinions really don't matter. What matters is the facts that's in front of you. Anyway, Looking at this also opens the doors for more flexibility and fair arrangements for that relationship. Now let's look at some practical ways to share the role of provider. Sharing the role of provider can improve the relationship and reduce the stress. Let me try that again. Sharing the role of provider can improve the relationship and reduce stress. And here are some practical steps that can help you to do that. One, communicate openly about your needs and capabilities. Next, divide financial responsibilities based on income and or expenses. Next, share household chores and children duties. And it could be other things. It could be outside the house, other things that you can do to show support and show that you care. Next, support each other personal and professional goals. By showing that, you're showing appreciation for the other person, and you're also allowing each of you to grow and grow together. Next, recognizing and appreciating all forms of contributions. All right, the reason that you pay a housekeeper or a gardener or any of those people is because they provide a service, and by them providing that service, you pay them for it. Well, same thing. This is emotional support. This is mental support. This is showing that you're caring about the other person and that it's not all about them or that everything's in their court. Plus that it gives them a feeling of relief, knowing that the person that they care for, love, and trust is actually supporting them in ways that are important. So the impact of redefining the provider's roles is very important. When families and or partners redefine what it means to provide, they often experience less pressure, more satisfaction. It is, let's say it encourages communication, cooperation, and respect. Children also benefit by seeing this diverse example of support and responsibility. So they're going to take that into their own lives. I mean, we got a lot of people that are walking around with a lot of toxicity in them because of things that they saw as a child, or things that they perceived as a child. So for example, let's say you have a family that values emotional support as much as financial stability. It teaches a child that caring for others is sharing responsibility. So we all need to consider these things as we look at moving along and moving beyond the lie that we've all been taught and programmed to see. So the lie about being a provider is that it is a fixed role and that money and traditional gender roles are true. They're not. The truth is that providing is flexibility and flexible to include all forms of support. Recognizing this can help people with unrealistic expectations and help them build stronger and healthy relationships. Everyone can be a provider. End of story. In their own way, contributing to a well-balanced environment and the well-being of those who you care about. So, something to consider, something to work on, especially for a lot of men that are trapped in that stereotype that they think that it's all about them bringing in the money and all of that stuff. We live in a world now where a lot of women make more money and of course have a lot of responsibility. We need to balance that out for our own lives, not for somebody else's expectations. Anyway, if this was good for you, if you got something out of this, please share it with somebody that you think it may help. We also ask that you like, share, and follow. And if you'd like, you can visit us at mrzinspires.com. We look forward to speaking with you and also communicating. Anyway, take care, be well, and I hope that this information was of value to each and every one of you.